Hello friends and enemies. Welcome to or back to Happy For Now. It's me, Isabel, here with your Romancelandia monthly for February. Big breaths, everybody. Deep breaths as we go into this month. It's a lot of little things. It feels not literally little, but like little things, you know? Some fun things, some interesting things, some what the fuck things, some things, and all of the above. I have quite the scroll on my phone right now. But if you're new here, I do a roundup every month of the things happening in Romancelandia and bookish space in general sometimes. It just depends. A couple of these are general bookish because I just had to comment on them. I had to. So we're gonna dive right in with the best news I've ever heard in my life, which is not confirmed in any capacity. This is from Dumois, so take it for what it is, but rumor has it Colleen Hoover might be retiring from writing. Yeah, and you know what? I hope so. I hope so. If I can be in the bookish space and whatever new one happens and not have a Colleen Hoover revival, I will be excited. That's all I got. We're not talking about the court case stuff either because we're waiting until things have hit the courts to talk about that again. Other, more thrilling, less maybe I'll dance to it news is bookshop.org, which is the website that allows you to buy books and support indie bookstores. Like buy books online and support the indie bookstore at the same time, has launched ebooks, which is a really fascinating situation. Not because like it's surprising that they've launched ebooks, but because people can't process the idea that perhaps to have ebooks outside of the Amazon platform, you're gonna have to use something that other than your Kindle to read. There are plenty of e-ink devices that are not Kindles that support the Kindle app and various other websites, apps such as bookshop.org. So I just think it's really neat to see someone else adding a new ecosystem for ebooks. Obviously, I don't know that they're going to launch their own e-reader, but the fact that you can put this on your tablet, on your phone, on an e-ink device, if you have one that is not a Kindle, sounds fantastic to me. But I just think it's really weird when people can't process the concept of wanting to like pull away from Amazon where you can. I personally am trying to move away from certain things on Amazon. I will not be leaving KU or my Kindle. My Kindle works because one, I don't buy books on my Kindle really unless they're free. I get, or 99 cents, like that's it. And then I use KU to support a lot of the indie authors I read. So like I personally like those are how I've like I pulled away other stuff, but I'm not gonna pull away my books. But I love having the option when the time comes to buy ebooks that support indie bookstores more. It's just like using Libro FM over Audible. Same difference. But yeah, I think it's just really weird that some people are like, but I can't read it on my Kindle. Like, duh. I just need people to use their brains sometimes, I feel like, with these situations. And cancel culture isn't real. Joe Arden is going on a romance book cruise. Here it is. Joe Arden on this cruise. I couldn't have made this up if I tried. I would have, like, this is just not, I would have never guessed that we're gonna add someone to a cruise that, like, got in trouble for harassing people. Okay, let's all get on a boat with him. That sounds like a good plan. That's heavy sarcasm on the good plan. I just feel like, you know, everyone wants to tell us cancel culture is real and it happens and it works and it's this and it's that. And then I see like, oh look, he's going on a cruise ship with a bunch of romance readers. But cancel culture is real. Okay. Here's a first. I think this is the first. I don't know that we've had this discussion on Romancelandia before, but apparently there's a bookstore selling knockoff books, which I knew this happened. Like I've seen people get like fake books from Amazon with like covers that are discontinued. Like I've seen that, right? But a bookstagrammer, call me a reader or something like that with a bunch of underscores, was partnered with a bookstore that was printing and selling knockoff books for like dollars. Like cheap, like so cheap that it should raise a red flag that it's so cheap. And I thought that was really weird and interesting. And I don't, were y'all aware that there's like a whole knockoff book thing, like to get books cheaper? Because this would never have crossed my mind to be like, I need to buy a dupe, a knockoff of a book that I loved just because it's cheaper. Like I think it would have just like, I would have been like, what do you mean this book is $5? And it retails for $20 and I'm not at a used bookstore and you're telling me it's new and it's not like a book outlet type situation. Okay. But yeah, this bookstagrammer, I've got her post right here, basically was like really upset when people called her out for selling knockoff books to this bookstore. And I was like, this is the first for me. I just didn't even know. I didn't even know it was possible. Didn't even know it was possible. I don't want to talk about this. I hate that this is a thing. This makes me so mad. But Oklahoma has a state bill going through right now from Dusty Devers. Yeah, homie's his name is Dusty. You can't make this up. His name is Dusty. And he put this bill in. And this bill basically, I'll put the bill name, like, specifics down here if you live in Oklahoma, so you can make sure to contact your representatives. But this bill's being pushed that would ban writing, owning, and reading of romance books, basically, of explicit materials. And this is where I say, you tell me books aren't political. You tell me books aren't political. You say books aren't making a statement. Books are not at risk. My romance bookshelves are not at risk. But we have this bill where reading, writing, or owning these books would be illegal because it contains what they've deemed explicit material. And now, when we say this, people are going to argue, and I know somebody in the comments will be like, did you read the bill? No, because I don't live in Oklahoma. I'm not reading the bill fully, okay? I'm watching breakdowns on it. Because the thing is, the language being used to identify these explicit materials, these inappropriate materials, is very loose, okay? It's vague. It's vague on purpose. And some people are like, well, it says like more illustrated or this or that. But no, they're not gonna go by just that. They are going to twist the language. That's how this stuff works. It's never as straightforward as like read the bill and like, this is how it's gonna work out, right? So like this is huge. One, that they're already pushing a bill like this. Two, it's not surprising that it's in Oklahoma, because Oklahoma, as a lot of other southern states, is a testing ground for these bills. This is where they see what is the reception and can we push it further and wider. There's a reason certain southern states pushed abortion bans before they started pushing a national one. There are states that are testing grounds for the Republicans because they don't give a shit about us in these southern states, right? We are just fodder for their bills to see what happens. Can we convince the people this is okay? Can we get them on board that children are being sold these materials that are not appropriate for them? Because they're not. That's not what's happening. So yeah, this bill is happening in Oklahoma, and I think it's something we really, really, really need to keep our eyes on. We need to watch for it to hit in other states so we can do the things we need to do in our states to push back. Because let me tell you, it's coming for your state too. And we are going to have to be vocal and loud about it. But more than anything, I just think this is just like another notch in the, what do you mean books aren't political for me? Because why are we trying to control what people read? That's what fascists do. Free countries don't care what their people read. Fascist countries do. So keep that in mind as we watch this state bill happen. And hopefully not go through, but we'll see. I will link to some resources on this down below for you if you're curious and you want to learn more. You also can use things like 5 calls and ResistBot to contact your representatives regularly and make sure you're being loud and annoying, because that's what we have to do. It's our job. Don't threaten them. Be loud and annoying though. Oh God, Pango Books. Okay, so Pango Books, what were you thinking? Pango Books wrote a thread at the end of January where it said, I'm writing an article about the trend in publishing of spicy romance books having cutesy cartoon covers. Of course, Icebreaker was on the list. It happened one summer. Care to share your thoughts? The replies were fantastic because it's basically just everyone being like, can we not say cutesy cartoon when it comes to romance books? We are using the wrong terminology and the wrong language to describe romance books because that's the language that people like Moms for Liberty want us to use so that they can then take that to say, see, these are being marketed towards our children. See, these are being sold to our children. When they're not, they're illustrated covers. They are covers that cover a wide variety of illustration types, including cartoon illustrations, but cartoon isn't exclusive to book covers or to TV shows, because like there are adult cartoons. Wild concept. This is just a reminder that like not everybody is clued into the conversation happening around the bookish space, and also that language is important, and we are definitely seeing a big push towards censorship, so we need to be extra careful on our language as we move forward in the next 4 years. On that note, Pango did cancel the article because they were like, oh, oops, didn't realize what I was asking. So that's good. That's good news. But I was just like, oh boy, I've not seen someone get dogpiled like this in a minute. Well, I take that back because our next one also got dogpiled. So this TikToker Katie, who not very of note, honestly, decided to be like full face on camera, that people who read fiction books have a superiority complex, and there's like, I just read a book. The vocal fry. I can't do it, but here we are. I'm just gonna screenshot. I'm not gonna play you the video. But then like basically says like, if you're not reading nonfiction, what's the point? And then 2, just go listen to Joe Rogan. Babes, we know dragons are real. We're not dumb. but we're allowed to read fiction, and you can still learn things from fiction books. Basically, she just kind of doubles down in the reply in her following videos, being like, oh my god, y'all are so mean. But like, why is your opinion that like people reading fiction books is less than people reading nonfiction books? And like, why have you decided that's they have a superiority complex? I don't know. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. If you have TikTok and you didn't see this, I do recommend like searching like Dragons Aren't Real or something like that in your search bar with like Kate in it, and go watch the videos, because they're hilarious. But yeah, to me, this just reinforced the thing of like, why are people so pressed about how other people spend their time? Like, why are they so concerned with how we spend our time? Because I feel like this is where this all comes back to constantly. Because it just seems to be the case. Continuing on TikTok. So this guy on TikTok named Ryan, I'm assuming is his name, has been fan casted by a bunch of readers as Will Grayson from the Penelope Douglas Nightfall series. I've never read this series. I have no idea. He's been fan casted. So he's like, look at me at this book. I read this book in which y'all fan cast. You know, he's doing the whole shtick that these men do to get the attention of book talkers and then like profit. Well, he took it too far because he said, hey, you can pay me $70 a month to subscribe to me, and I'm going to read you this book. Like, I'm going to narrate this book to you as this character you've cast me in. Don't worry. Penelope Douglas said, I'm not getting kickbacks from this. This is not authorized. This is not okay. What are y'all doing? Why would it be okay for him to take my intellectual property and narrate it for you without me being compensated in any capacity? Yeah, so that happened. That was a really fun one that I like landed on later, because I've gotten like TikToks about this book. But again, I don't think I'll ever read, but I've gotten TikToks about it. And then I got Penelope Douglas being like, hey, no. And I was like, oh shoot, okay, don't do that, please don't, y'all. Okay, back to Amazon. God, we already talked about Amazon. I should have grouped these better. I didn't. It's fine. Just a quick FYI, PSA. If you're watching this today, you have 2 more days, give or take, to download your Kindle books off of Amazon, if you would like to do that. If you have a Kindle that is 2020, that is older than the newest gen, like the 11th gen, I think, is what I have, you can download the books via the USB on the Kindle still. But if anything, you have the newer one, you can't do this. But if you want to make sure you have your Kindle books backed up in any capacity if something happens to Amazon, and you want to like be able to download them from the website, you're running out of time. I personally have done this. I backed up my 2,300-ish Kindle books to a software called Calibre. I don't know. Everybody calls it something different. And so I did that. I used a script that I found on the Reddit to download each page of my 90 pages of books. So you can do that if you would like. I will link to the directions I followed down below and the script part that I followed. Proceed with caution and at your own will for this stuff. But yeah, if you are someone who potentially eventually wants to divest from Amazon more and you don't want to lose all your books, this is your best option, because they're taking away the ability just to download your books and transfer them via cable on the 26th. And it's really just kind of another notch in the like terribleness of Amazon. But like I said, as someone who loves to read indie books, I can't fully divest because I have to support my indie authors, and you can't do that if you leave Kindle. You just really can't. So links below to what I did if you're curious. And Publishing House made a bananas post in the current climate of the world. This is Quill and Flame Publishing. They have a post that is #sick of the smut. And they're just so tired of all the smut in all these books. And not everything needs to have smut, and this, that, the other. And listen, everything doesn't need to have smut. And I think the way we market books that have like sex in them and spicy scenes is a disaster at times, okay? I have feelings about that, but we're not going to go into those here. But what I am going to say is you can be someone who wants to read closed door romances or Fade to Black and all that, and you don't have to sit there and be shitty to people who don't want to read that or who vary it and read both. You don't have to judge other people's preferences because they're called preferences. They're personal, they're your own. Listen, I'm going to judge you a little if it's like a notoriously shitty author that you love, but like a little or a lot, it depends on the author. But like, I'm just saying there's room for everybody at the table. And it's just weird to be like, we publish young adult and new adult titles and we make sure there's no smut in them. And I'm just like, kisses only. Like, that's fine. It's just closed door. Like, we have terms for this. It doesn't have to be like no more of X, Y, and Z thing that other people like. it just feels gross. It's very gross. It's very puritanical, and I don't love that. So y'all remember Jessica Hall? We talked about her last month, and she had that book with like the racism in it, and her husband came to defend her on Threads. Well, she posted on Instagram about a re-release of these books. No mention of the racism, but instead she's donating money to autism. It is not Autism Speaks, I will tell you that. A couple of my members were like, oh no, and I was like, we're safe for a moment there on that. But it didn't address the racism. But I guess the character's brother in the book is autistic. Like, someone in her life is autistic. She decided to address that in Black History Month and not the racism she had in the book. Yeah, okay. She's just staying on my no thanks list. In weird nostalgia news, House of Night by PC Cast is getting a movie. I read these in middle school, high school, I don't know. I remember these being banana pants bonkers. I actually own like book 4 or 5 on my Kindle, and I think that's where I stopped. But I'm just fascinated we're getting a movie of this. I will be very curious what this looks like, how this works, what happens. Because I just remember these being like really dramatic. Fingers crossed for like CW style show for this movie situation, like just really campy and ridiculous. Like, that would be fantastic. The other thing I'm going to tell you is that the Twilight 20th anniversary was announced for the re-release, and I just want to remind everybody that I too have Twilight nostalgia. Do not get me wrong, but if you already own the books that you've owned forever, maybe don't buy these. Maybe listen to what other people are saying about some of the things in these books before you rush out to buy them. Or you can also choose, which is often what I end up doing if there's just something that piques my interest, is I donate More Than the Thing to the Quillette Tribe's Move to Higher Ground Fund and other things where Stephanie has done harm. I'm just saying. That doesn't negate your action, but I feel like you can do something to, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how I feel about these re-releases though either. Like, the one looks like a book journal kind of, but I just think it's fascinating the resurgence we've had with this series, because I do feel like the series really died off and quieted down a lot for a hot minute, but now it is back full force. It is back full force, and it is fascinating to see what all is happening. So yeah, just check your nostalgia a little bit and then go from there before you like rush out to buy more of that. And like, you know, read books from Indigenous authors writing rom-coms. You could do that too. Danica Neva's right there. Okay, this is my really? During Black History Month? You're gonna do this? Segment. This one where I, your friendly white girl, tell you what? Why are you doing this in Black History Month? Why are you doing this in general? But during Black History Month? Really? Really? Okay, so Kendrick Lamar. Love him. Love him so much. So, big Kendrick household here in the Happy For Now home. Grumps regularly heard singing Kendrick things, blurting out Kendrick lyrics. It's been a thing since pre-Drake. And then Hyper Focus hit, and there was a big deep dive because of Drake. Anyways, you know, in the halftime show when he like smiles and he's like, say Drake, and people have taken that and turned it into like a meme, and absolutely, deservedly so, but also used it to recommend books. And I feel like you missed the song to an extent when you do this, because why are we recommending a ton of white authors with that? Like, I saw this on multiple places. I'm not going to call anyone out directly because I'm not joking. I saw it multiple places now. And I was like, it is Black History Month. What are you doing? But, let's just not. Listen, I just feel like at the end of the day, some things aren't for us. Like, you can enjoy and appreciate a thing and have fun with it. But, like, you also don't have to make the thing into a thing because, like, it's not for us. It's not for us sometimes. And as much as I love Kendrick, and I loved the halftime show, and I loved all the statements made in that halftime show, maybe certain things just aren't for me to, you know? But yeah, I saw this across multiple social media platforms, and I was just like, we couldn't even slide in our favorite, Kennedy Ryan, in this? You couldn't even put her there? And like, that is not a slight to Kennedy Ryan by any means. Kennedy Ryan is constantly calling out and bringing attention to other incredible Black authors. Absolutely incredible Black authors. But it's just like, they couldn't, like, the people doing this didn't even put her, like, the one that they do, like, openly read. I don't know. That leads on to the next. I'm going to play this video for y'all. Take a breath, because this video.
I need all my Black authors to come to the front right now. We know that with everything that we do, we have to work 10 times as hard, right? Why y'all books not 10 times better? Now, don't get me wrong, the plot is there, the character development there, I love it. But y'all are not writing a book. Got nothing but a plot. Fix it now.
I pose again during Black History Month. Really? I wasn't going to talk about this, and then I kept thinking about it. I kept getting stitches of this, and Brie over the Luck Petition, who I adore. I'm going to link to her 2 TikToks about this, because honestly, yes. But, like, you had, like, as of this video going up, 5 more days till the month was over, and you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait 5 more days. You couldn't wait 10 more days to come out with an absolutely awful take, because there's no way you have read every single Black author, every single Black book out there to be able to say this, okay? Because that's impossible. That is literally impossible. You can't do that. And listen, I saw this and I was like, block, moving on, because during Black History Month again. But yeah, to me this just screams of like, you're not picking up the right books. As Jess Owen says, read better books. You got to figure out what your tastes are, but read better books then. You know, like when you know what you like, you know what you like, and you can read better books. It's a whole thing. It's fantastic when you know what you like, and you know how to discern from summaries and how people talk about a book that you like. You would also like this thing. But yeah, you know, I went and looked on her page, and the next book she read was like a classic, which there's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I was just thinking, like, how many Black books have you read? How many independently published Black books have you read? Because I'm just thinking it's a low number. I don't know. But yeah, some fantastic commentary on this one. So I'm just going to tell you to go watch those videos I linked below, because my God, I kind of giggled a little too hard at some of these. But I continue to feel like anytime somebody has these critiques about like a certain group and like these books not being good, you just haven't found one that you like yet. Because I can find you a romance that's a Black romance that you would like. I guarantee it. There's a lot of books out there that are going to be the right thing for you. But I don't know. Something about the video just tells me you're not very open to it. Last but not least, we have Wild and Windy in Phoenix, where apparently, I don't know a ton about their ticketing system, but they had like different colored passes. And one bigger book talker was basically unable to go in and get her books, which means other people also had the same issue, which they did in her replies. People pre-ordered books and were not allowed into the rooms to go get the books they pre-ordered, and like a lot of the popular pre-order authors were in one room. So like they had 30 minutes left for the event until they were able to go in, and there were still like 2+ colored groups that hadn't been called yet. And she's like, I'm lucky. I know a lot of these authors. I know a lot of their PAs. I can reach out and I can get my books, but that's not your everyday person at these events. And I saw people saying, did we learn nothing from Readers Take Denver? So I would say this isn't a full-blown disaster, but we've already got our first like slight BookCon disaster for 2025. And that's just disappointing, because Love Y'all was happening in Atlanta last weekend too, and that seems like it went off without a hitch, which I think I might try and do in 2026. We might do Love Y'all in 2026, because honestly, I'm always happy to go down to Atlanta. I love Atlanta. But yeah, I just think that's interesting that happened. I just want to give the general PSA that like the Wild and Windy Phoenix event, maybe don't pre-order a ton of books, I guess, because it sounds like this was a big issue this year. I've not seen them release anything about how they're correcting it or fixing it or any of that stuff. And honestly, in response to it, I've seen a lot of authors talk about how they're only going to do really small events now. And I don't mind that. I think that's actually kind of great. I do love a smaller book event. I really enjoy an event where it's maybe, 50 authors, not 100, or 25 authors. Like, I really do like a smaller event because I feel like you have more time to do the things versus being stuck in one area or unable to go in and get your pre-orders. All right, let's talk about my bingo board, because that's our last thing for this month's Romancelandia. So the bingo board this month, we're giving one update. If there's something you think I should switch or I missed, let me know in the comments. But for now, this month's checkoff on the bingo board is that books aren't political, because people were saying that with the Oklahoma bill. That conversation was circling again. So we're just going to go ahead and preemptively check this off, because I feel like it's just the conversation that's been happening on and off since last Romancelandia, but also continued. So books aren't political is getting checked off. So that's where we are on our bingo board. Really, really curious to see what happens as the year goes. I know more to come. I already know there's more to come. So there's that. I also have not looked into if Onyx Storm was bad or not. So I guess I'm going to go look at the reviews for that to decide. if that box gets checked off or not, or y'all can let me know in the comments if you think that one gets checked off. I haven't really seen a ton of people talking about it, which is shocking with how popular Fourth Wing is. So yeah, that is everything I know that happened in the month of February. Let me know if I missed anything down below in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on stuff happening. And if you don't want to do any of that, you can leave me a bow emoji. I'm staring at my water bottle with bows on it. I will have links to everything I can link to for you down there. Links to my friend anywhere on the internet. If you want early access to things like this, you can join as a Romancelandia supporter, where you get this every single month, early access, and then the friends tier, you get like other videos, early access, and like reading vlogs and some different stuff. Anyways, if you're interested, that's linked below. Also includes 25 and 2025, so there's that. All right, I'm gonna go because I need to edit this video, and I will talk to y'all in just a few days. Bye!
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away. This is what we